Hey guys, Cal here today with the brand new body style 2024 GMC Acadia Denali, and this one stickers in at $64,710, and it is a 4-cylinder under the hood. Now, I have already taken a look at the base model Acadia, the Elevation, in another one of my reviews. I'll have that linked up above if you guys want a full tour of the Acadia as a whole. But this video, we're going to focus on what makes the Denali, and I'm going to tell you at the end if I think it's worth it. So on the front end of your new Acadia Denali, you will see these C-shaped headlights that are apparent on this new generation of Acadia. You have that LED projector headlamp right there, and those daytime running lights and turn signals that run around the outside of the headlight right there. Got that little GMC insignia on the headlight down there. And then right here is your fog light. This is the same fog light that was on the Elevation model, so nothing different there. And then right here, I do think this is a slightly different finish than was on the Elevation. On the Elevation model, I think it was chrome, whereas here it looks kind of more like a polished aluminum. And then if we take a look at this bottom part of the bumper right here, this is all painted in gloss black, if you guys can kind of get a look at that. Whereas on the Elevation model, this was all kind of like a flat black plastic, really nothing too special to look at. Got your parking sensors up in the front bumper as well. And then on the front end, you also have this kind of polished aluminum or chrome look on the entire grille, whatever you want to call it, but in Denali fashion, like they always have, whether it's a Sierra or a Terrain, you have that beautiful chrome grille on the front end. And I think the front end of this thing, really just like any other Denali, really does make a statement. I love it. And taking a look under the hood of the brand new Acadia Denali, here is that 4-cylinder that I mentioned earlier. This is the brand new 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that whether you get the base model Elevation or you step all the way up to Denali, you can no longer option a V6. The new 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder is the only engine you can get. It puts out 328 horsepower and 326 pound-foot of torque, so that is a little bit more power than the 3.6 liter V6 was making in the last generation. That was putting out 310 horsepower and 271 pound-foot of torque. So I know some of the GMC purists that have been driving them for years are going to miss that V6, but this 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder is now the only engine you can choose. So do with that what you will, but that is the only engine option now. All right, guys, here we are on the side of the brand new Acadia Denali, and starting up front, you will see the shine in the sunlight, that sparkle of this ebony twilight metallic. The finish on this paint is absolutely gorgeous. Now, it is a $495 option to get that paint color, so do note that. Now, on the side here, the body cladding right here, this on the Elevation model is all just flat black plastic down here, whereas on this Denali model, you're going to see these lower parts are painted a gloss black, and then around the wheel wells is going to be the body color paint of whatever paint color you selected. And then down here, these 22-inch pearl nickel aluminum wheels that do come with a machined finish. These pretty much do make you have to option the $3,000 Denali Reserve package. That comes with the panoramic sunroof. You guys might be able to see inside, and it also does come with the Bose Performance Series audio system inside. And honestly, I think these wheels are so pretty on this new Denali that it's a deal breaker for me not to have these wheels. I think these absolutely make the car. They're beautiful. And then this is also Denali specific, is this chrome trim on the bottom here. If you get an Elevation, it's only going to have a chrome strip up top that will end right there. On the door sides as well, you do have these Denali specific badges on the driver and passenger doors up front. And then around your door handles, also Denali specific, is this chrome trim. So that makes the door handles a little more elegant, a little more pretty looking. And you have that passive entry on the front door handle as well as the rear door handle. And then for your roof racks up top, these have a chrome, sort of a polished aluminum finish. Kind of give you a quick look at the roof rails here. Give you a look at the roof overall up here. Take a look at that. There's your panoramic sunroof. It is absolutely huge, beautiful from inside as well. The view is incredible. And then if I open your fuel door right here, open that up, you will see there are no messages or any warnings that say you have to put 93 in this, so you can run the new 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder on just regular. Now here we are at the rear end of the brand new Acadia Denali, and first and foremost, the most obvious thing you're going to notice that's different from a standard Acadia back here is this Denali badging that is front and center in the rear. And then right here you have those brand new LED running lights and LED turn signals, just like we have on the Acadia Elevation. Now coming down to the bottom is where you're going to see another change as well. You do still have the same dual exhaust that comes on the Acadia Elevation, but for this bottom diffuser or just bottom of the bumper, whatever you want to call it down here, this part is chromed out instead of being a gloss silver paint. And then this midsection here that divides the tailgate and the diffuser, this midsection, instead of being a flat black plastic, is gloss black down here to match the body color. And I figured while we were at the back end of the Acadia, we would talk about its towing capacity. You'll see that I have just taken the cover off in order to reveal the trailer hitch. You'll see these two little screws right here that you just undo on the bottom of the bumper, and this cover will come off in order to reveal the trailer hitch. You have your 7-pin connector over here, so you will be able to support brake functions for your trailer. And then you do have your spots to put your safety chains right there. And when properly equipped, the Acadia can tow up to 5,000 pounds. All right, guys, opening up the trunk, we'll go ahead and double click the button on the remote right there, and our trunk will open just like that. And you'll be happy to know that this new generation of Acadia does have a larger trunk back here. This one clocks in at 23 cubic feet back here, whereas the last generation of Acadia was 12.8 cubic feet in the trunk. So this new trunk is now the same size as the Chevy Traverse, so that's pretty cool to see. Now on your passenger side of the trunk, you will see there is a 12-volt power plug, so if you guys want to plug in a vacuum or an air pump, anything like that, you can do that with that plug right there. And then you'll also see there is a little control center that controls all of our chairs right here in order to fold them down from the back. So we didn't have to pull any ropes or anything like we did in the Acadia Elevation. In this model, we can just go ahead and use these electronic buttons. So first I'm going to fold down the driver's side right there. Then we're going to fold down the passenger side just like that. And then we'll go up to the second row, we'll do the driver's side again, and then the passenger side right there. And you'll see that everything folds flat. And if I go ahead and climb in here, just to give you guys some perspective on how big this area is here, I am 6'2", and if you have to sleep in the back of your Acadia, it might actually work. You know, if you throw an air mattress back here, or maybe just some blankets and things, I think this could actually work as a little sleeping space back here. You can even look up at the stars at night through this panoramic sunroof. Look at that. All right, guys, now it is time to take a seat in the second row of the Acadia Denali here. So I will sit behind myself. So if I hop in just like this, you can see I still do have a good 2-3 inches of knee room with this second row seat all the way back. And getting into the third row of the Acadia Denali here, we'll go ahead and check out the size of the third row. You can see on our way back, not only do the second row seats have this beautiful cross stitching on the leather of this after dark leather appointed trim that is on all the seats here, also makes it onto the third row. So I love the look of that cross stitching. So we'll go ahead and try to hop into the third row here as someone who is 6'2", and you'll see that the center is a little tight. Okay, I will try to get unpinched out of there and get my shoe behind the third row here. And got a little bit further in than I expected, actually, so I'm pretty impressed. Not horrible, honestly, so I'm like halfway in. Leg is just out in the aisle, just kind of hanging out. So this is what it looks like to be 6'2", fitting in the third row of the brand new Acadia. And you will see that the kids in the third row do have their little cup holders and their little cell phone chargers right there on the wall on both sides, so that's nice to see. All right, now if I move this second row seat pretty much about as far forward as it can go, like that. Pretty much just kind of leaving a hand length there. You might be able to move it back a little bit. Now I will try hopping into the third row again. We'll see how that goes. And I am able to finally sit down. See, I am able to finally navigate behind that second row like this. Put your feet right there. So with moving the second row forward with just a couple, maybe 1 or 2 inches to spare, somebody who is 6'2" can fit in the third row row of the brand new Acadia. And before we leave this beautiful second row, we will go over some of the features. Down below here, the kids in the second row of the Denali here do have, look at that, heated seats in the second row. That is very cool back here. They also do have their own climate control like they had in the Elevation models. And then the second row passengers do have their cell phone chargers right there. And just like the Elevation model did, there is a household power outlet down there. And now we have to talk about what an absolute showstopper this panoramic sunroof is. I mean, it's just a huge expanse of glass up here. It is so pretty. And if I go up here, let's see if we can get this to open just like that. Wow. It is just so pretty back here. I love this panoramic sunroof. I think if you're getting an Acadia Denali, you have to get that. I mean, it just looks stunning back here. It makes the entire car in here. It makes the whole cabin so airy and light. I just absolutely love this option. I think if you're getting Denali, this option right here is a no-brainer. All right, guys, now hopping into the front seat of the new Denali, and I do find that I have pretty good leg space up here. And one thing that's gonna kind of shock people and maybe baffle people is for some reason in this Denali model, I find that I have a little bit more leg space than I did in the Elevation model. I don't know why that is. So was the way they mounted the seats different? I don't know. I don't think there's an actual way to figure that out. So I would advise if you guys are taller to go check it out yourself. Hopping into the driver's seat of the Denali, you will see the same door design that we saw on the rear door. You have that textured wood up top and that leather midsection with that beautiful cross stitching right there and that little chrome panel that runs across right there with the Bose speakers right there, the Performance Series. This is a little bit better than the Bose system that is in the Elevation model, so this is just one step above that. You have the button to fold your mirrors in right there, and then right up here is the buttons for your memory seating. Then you have this little stack right here, right out of the Elevation or the Chevy Traverse. They have the same exact button layout. And down below, all these carpets, these floor mats in here have this really cool Berber carpet design. It almost feels like a doormat, you know, you'd put out in front of your house or something like that. It is a really cool Berber carpet material with that Denali designation on the mats. And then on the door sill here, you also do have that chrome Denali designation right there as well. You have your lumbar support and all that stuff right there. And on these leather seats, you will see that Denali designation on the headrest as well, sewn in there. Looks very beautiful. You have that cross stitching in the upper section. There is also a lighter seat color as well. So if you guys don't like the black leather, you kind of want a lighter seat color option. I did see it in person. It is very pretty looking. And on the steering wheel, when you hop in, of course, you have that Denali designation on the steering wheel as well. Very, very cool there that you're not necessarily looking at the GMC logo. They have Denali there to kind of switch it up for you, make it a little bit more special. And now we'll go ahead and fire up our Denali. Go ahead and put our foot on the brake and hit the push button start right there. And she fires up and comes to life just like that. And one thing I was noticing rolling the window up is that I do think, maybe I'm wrong, somebody's gonna have to comment, but guys, is this dual pane glass here? Is that how dual pane glass looks? I think this has dual pane glass on your Denali model here. This is pretty sweet. I didn't check on the Elevation when I drove that if it also had dual pane glass, but if I'm not mistaken, I want to say this is a dual pane window right here. So that is pretty sweet, and it's definitely a nice quiet close as well. So when I roll that up like that, has that kind of nice soft shutting noise there. So pretty sweet dual pane windows. I didn't expect that in a Denali model. And as you guys can see by this beautiful leather wrapped steering wheel with this little bar up at the top, it does indeed have Super Cruise. That is a $3,490 package, and you will find your little Super Cruise button down here. Now you do have to have adaptive cruise control active first before you can use that Super Cruise button down below. And then up top here, part of the Super Cruise package is your digital rear view mirror. So if I hit that and I hit this little check mark at the bottom, I can adjust the brightness of that. I can hit it again and I can zoom in or zoom out on that camera. And then I can also move that camera up and down, which is pretty sweet too. So that package is a lot of money, but I think if you do get this Super Cruise feature, this self-driving feature, whatever you want to call it, this could be a good way to future-proof the car and maybe hold on to some resale value, because I think, you know, a few years down the road when this becomes a little bit more common, people are going to want to see that this does have it when they are going to buy their Acadia Denali. And then on the Denali model here, you do have the power, tilt, and telescoping, so that is nice to see right there. And then this screen, pretty much overall the same setup as the other Acadia that I drove. Really nothing too crazy or different here. You do have to pay $25 a month to keep these Google Maps active on this screen. Now, if this subscription does run out, you are still able to use your Apple CarPlay and Android Auto over here. As you can see, they're grayed out right now because nothing is hooked up to them. And then your little all-wheel drive button down here, when I hit that, you will see down in the bottom left corner, it will activate your all-wheel drive. And then your little drive mode selector right here, if I hit that, it'll show me I'm going to tow haul mode right there. And then you have that snow and ice mode, very icy and blue, very cold looking. And then sport mode turns everything red. So kind of neat to see we still do have some drive modes here in these cars like this. And then on this very large cell phone looking 15-inch touchscreen, I did want to note that down here, this little light button, this is how you turn on your headlights now. No longer do you have a little stalk up here or anything like that. You don't have anything to twist or any little dial down here like you've had in past generations. And the Denali model is also coming with this ambient lighting right here. So I do believe this is on AT Ford and Denali models, but if I click into that, you have all these colors to go through and select right here. I really think that is probably one of the coolest things I've seen in a vehicle in quite some time. It's been a while since I've seen this make its way back into an American vehicle, so that is very cool to see. And then if I click into your radio, you do have your Sirius radio, your AM, FM, all that good stuff. So if we click into that, you have that there. And this is a very sweet looking system. And then to the left of that headlight switch is your control center. If I hit that right there and go up here, you will see that is also how you're going to turn on your fog lights as well. And you have some other features on here as well as that. And in the center stack of your Denali here, you will see that you do have this beautiful wood trim right here. This is also textured wood like we saw in the second row and the first row here on the door. This textured wood is so cool that they're finally starting to put this back in cars now, especially in the American market. This is not something we see a lot. These cup holders are a fair size. I was able to fit my 26-ounce Yeti tumbler in there just by a small hair, so you can actually get a Yeti in there. That is pretty cool. And then if you open this up, that is where you're going to find your wireless charging for the phone. And then you have these little charge ports down here, your USB type A and C right down in that little tunnel right there. And then this center armrest does have some very nice leather on it. As you guys can see, there is padded, so it's a nice comfortable place to rest your arm during a long ride. And then you do have some cup holders here for the second row passengers as well. And if I go ahead and open this up, see there's a little tray there, and I have actually been able to fit my Yeti in here as well and ended up being able to close it, which was absolutely incredible. So that was pretty sweet. All right guys, gonna take a quick little drive in the Acadia Denali here, and you will see that I do have the Google Maps that you have to pay for set up on my center screen as well as up on my dash there. They do look good. They have a very crisp look. Everything is outlined very well and very familiar looking because it is Google Maps. But if you do have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, I couldn't see a reason for really paying for something like this. And then up ahead of me, you will see that standard now on all-wheel drive Acadia Denalis is this little heads-up display. So you see it has your directions there, your time of day in the bottom right, what speed you have the cruise control set to up in the top left, and then what speed you are going in the bottom left. And if I go over to our screen here, you will see that if I go into the control center at the bottom left, I can hit the heads-up display button right there, and I can move it up and down with this little slider here. So if I start clicking it up, oh, there you go. Okay, so you can see it kind of come up to the top of the windshield, and you can even rotate it a little bit. You can even change the brightness, so they give you a lot of customization with that heads-up display now, so that's pretty cool on that. Okay guys, getting the Acadia Denali out onto the road. We're gonna go ahead and get onto the highway and get it up to speed. All right, go ahead and bust a left right here, and let's see how she does. Let's go.
Continue on I-390 south for 1 mile.
And the power is definitely there. You might not miss the V6 as much as you expect. I'm gonna go ahead and merge in right here. right. And up to cruising speed, just like that. No problems at all here. Now, very quickly, I'm gonna try my best. We're gonna turn on, it says you have to have whatever that's called, adaptive cruise control on, and then we're gonna go ahead and hit the super cruise button. Whoa! Whoa! This is crazy! Man, that is wild! Look at this! And then these sensors keep an eye on your eyes while you're doing it. And then this little green thing up at the top here lets you know that, Super Cruise is active and everything is okay. It just took me around that curve back there. So now what I want to say about Super Cruise is it's not going to work on every road, like those countryside roads. A lot of your side roads, your state routes, kind of smaller roads like that, it's not really going to serve a purpose on. It's not exactly programmed for that yet. But as far as like major highways like that, I want to say those are all programmed into the Super Cruise now. But that was just the craziest thing I have ever seen back there. I have never been in a self-driving car, so to see a car turn its wheel at all, even though that was a pretty small turn for it to handle back there, for seeing a car do that in general to me just absolutely blows my mind. So Super Cruise is definitely a really cool feature. Not going to work on most roads, but on those major highways is when it is going to come into effect. All right, guys, so now it's time to round out my thoughts. Do I think that the 2024 GMC Acadia Denali is worth it? And I'm going to say yes for these reasons. The interior is incredibly well done with this textured wood, with those leather inlays on the door, with this cross stitching that's on the seats. That is also gorgeous. That Denali insignia on both front headrests. The leather in here feels incredibly high quality. It doesn't feel kind of like a cheap American car leather. It actually feels really, really good in here. The trunk that's larger than the last generation Acadia is also a nice plus for people that are coming into this generation of Acadia from the old one. That panoramic sunroof in here is an absolute showstopper. I loved it. Love how much light that lets in the cabin. I think it's a great option to get, especially if you are going Denali. You might as well go big and go ahead and get that sunroof. And the sound system in this Denali is incredible as well. I was playing some tunes through it on channel 52 and 53. A lot of sort of electronic music oriented stuff with a lot of bass in it, really just trying to test it out. And it sounded incredible on the drive. It has much better volume, much better depth than the stock Bose system that's in the Acadia Elevation. This one has a lot more depth. It sounds much, much better in here. Not the loudest system I've ever heard, but it is a high quality sounding system. So sometimes I'll take that over a louder system. Now, as for reasons I wouldn't buy the 2024 GMC Acadia Elevation is because I am a car guy, and for that reason, I do love expensive German cars that really maybe are not a great financial move, but are just maybe a little bit more fun to someone like me who is a car guy. At this price point, $64,000, you can get a stock or like a base Acadia Denali for a little bit less, but it's $64,000 what this one is priced at. There are a lot of other vehicles that start to become a little more appealing, at least to me being a car guy. I might go look at something like a pre-owned BMW X5M that I can get into and get out of for minimal loss, as long as I buy it at the right price and the right mileage. So that would be the first reason I might not pick Acadia Denali. And then the second reason I might not pick Acadia Denali is because this is the first model year. 2024 is the first model year of this body style. So for that reason, it may still have some kinks that have to get worked out of this body style and this new 2.5 liter turbocharged engine that we don't really know about yet. So if it was me and I was genuinely interested in just purchasing the Acadia and the Acadia only, I would maybe wait a year or two and maybe wait for some of these kinks to get worked out if there are any. And then maybe later on down the road, you can save yourself a little depreciation, pick up like a certified pre-owned model, something like that, just to kind of save a little money and also have a vehicle that's more reliable. I hope you guys did enjoy my review of the 2024 GMC Acadia Denali. I wanted to give a quick shout out to my friends over at Bob Johnson GMC in Henrietta. I will have all their contact info in the description below. They are the ones who let me have this Acadia Denali today to review for you guys. If you did enjoy the video, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video.